I don't know about you, but I've got this picture in my mind where you've got these disciples that are still in the boat, and they don't even want to get out of the boat. But Jesus is flat out of the boat. He's going up, and he's going to meet this guy. And I just see a strong, powerful Savior, a Lord, a Master, who can take the most hideous evil in the world. He doesn't even flinch. He goes right up to it. Jesus came out of the splendor of heaven to come here to deal with that. He calls us to do the same. Not to live in our closed, isolated paradises that some people call churches, but to open it up and to go out and to do battle. There are so many people in need. So many people in need. But what do most churches do? Most churches compete with other churches for the same folks that are going to heaven. And what ends up happening is that people just get swapped from place to place to place to place, while there are all those folks out there. And I did a survey, by the way, after the latest census poll. And even if I use grand numbers of how many people are currently churched people, there's at least 85,000 people out there who are not churched anywhere in Lenawee County. And how many of those are like Crazy Harry? That is my mission. That is our mission as the church, to penetrate those dark places, to have that courage, which only comes from Jesus. Because those townspeople, those pagan people, they had no power. Jesus' people have the power to penetrate dark places. We need to have the courage to say we can go in the name and the power and the authority of Jesus to penetrate those dark places. If we're willing to leave the splendor of our church fellowship to go into the dark, scary, dangerous places. You hear preachers say about it all the time. Ministry is messy. Ministry is messy. This is the messiness of ministry. Battling the dark forces in this world, in the spiritual realm. We have a man in need. We have a man in desperate need. You have a neighbor who's in need. In desperate need. You have a family member who's in desperate need. You have a work associate who's in desperate need. You know somebody who's in desperate need. You're probably saying, he's not like Crazy Harry. Oh, yes, he is. But we see with jaded glasses. We need to take the jaded glasses off and understand that if this person is not with Jesus Christ, then he is just as Harry is here. Harry before Jesus, Harry after Jesus. We got a man in need. But here we have a man cured, and this is the good news. We all know the reality of darkness. We know the reality of sin. We know the reality of hopelessness and helplessness. But here's the good news. The good news is that Jesus has come to provide the cure. And he speaks, and evil runs. And he casts them out, he casts them into these pigs. You say, why? What is the deal with the pigs? And scholars throughout the ages have wondered, what is the whole deal with the pigs? And this whole thing, I'd like to do a whole series on demonology, but just please trust me right now. Demons are very real. Demons are very real. But they're not omnipresent. They're not omniscient. They're not all the place. They can't be everywhere at the same time, and they don't have the power of Jesus Christ. They're limited. But they're unclean spirits. And I think Jesus did this whole thing because these demons needed to go into something that's a visual for everyone to see. And so he put these unclean spirits into an unclean animal and showed that their purpose is what? To destroy. They took those pigs and they destroyed them. That's what they want to do to Harry. That's what they want to do to you. That's what they want to do to your spouse. That's what they want to do to your coworker. That's what they want to do to your neighbor. Make no mistake about it, when you see those pigs rushing over the hillside and drowning them, that's what they want to do to you and me. But Jesus, he gives us the power to be free from their power. We had a man in need, but we have a man who's cured by the power of Jesus Christ. And folks, every single one of us who claims to be a follower of Jesus Christ, a disciple of his, that we follow him, he gives us that same authority and power in his name to combat those very same real demons that oppress most people. Not very many people are possessed like that today, but they're more oppressed and they're deceived and they're lied to by these demons. And it's a strong power to make you believe that a lie is the truth. The greatest problem today and his greatest power is for you to believe a lie. And he'll take us down that primrose path until he kills us. But we've got the cure for those folks. You're carrying it. Look at the responsibility that we have to bring that cure to people that we know and we love. Lisa read a poem last week and it expressed it was a hard poem, wasn't it? It was a convicting poem about my friend on the day of judgment, and you never spoke him to me. You didn't bring me the cure. And you call me your friend? Oh, you helped me with my lawn. Maybe you let me borrow money. Maybe you sat and visited with me. All the while, you knowing that I'm like Crazy Harry and you've left me out at the tombs. I don't know how I can call you friend now. That's a convicting poem. Some would say, well, that's a manipulative poem. It is not. It is the truth. We really, really love. We will pray. We will do whatever we can to get that cure to those who need it. I believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by him. Jesus said, I came to seek and to save those who are lost. I came for the Harrys in the world. I didn't come and preach meetings and have a big crowd and have popularity. Man, I came to make disciples, to follow me all the way to my Father for all eternity. That's my plan from here on out. 101. Making disciples who can make disciples who can make disciples. I'm pouring myself into those people who want to do that. And I pray that you have that same desire. I hardly ever use the word Christian today, and it's simply because Christian is a name today that's become so generic, so misaligned, so misappropriated, as to lose anything but a negative impact. I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ. I'm a follower of his. I want to be like him. I don't want to be like some Christians who call themselves Christians. You follow what I'm saying on that, right? Please, I hope you do. That's just my personal opinion. That it's being misused. Let's go back to the Bible basics. What it means to be a student, a follower, a disciple of Jesus Christ. Desperate man in need. Desperate man who has now been cured by the power of Jesus, and now a man with a mission. A man with a mission. Harry has a mission. He wanted to stay with Jesus. As Peter was up on the mountaintop, Peter, James, and John, and God performed this miracle where it's called the Transfiguration, and Jesus is there with Moses and Elijah, and the presence of God is just flooding the joint, right? And Peter, I love Peter. He just talks before he even thinks. He's like, oh man, this is great. By the way, this is Tom's loose translation. This is great. Oh man, why don't we just stay up here on this mountaintop forever? I'm going to put up some tents, and we're going to hang out here, and we're going to just bask in the glory of God forever. And who wouldn't want to do that? I do. Don't you, Patty Ann? I look forward to it. But you read the rest of the story. God says, basically to Peter, be quiet. Listen to Jesus. And the presence of the glory of God leaves. And where do they immediately go? Down into the valley. Down into the valley to serve suffering people. There's a crazy guy down there who needs help. But they were up there partying and enjoying the presence of God. Yeah, that's great. I kind of akin that to what we're doing today. And we bring in the presence, and we beg for the presence of God to come in here. Why? So we can get out of here and go to the valley of serving. We need his power. We need his authority. We need his presence. We need to know he's with us, because we can't go in that valley by ourselves. And that's what most of us will do. We'll be like the folks in the Decapolis. We can't deal with that dude out there. So they don't go. But if you're a disciple of Jesus Christ and you've got the power and the authority of his word, you can walk into those situations with confidence, with authority, and you can speak that word to the evil powers. And they have to run.